What is up, Asheville? It is All Hallows Eve.
Hey, hold up a sec. I know you want to spend Halloween with your friends and all, but I just don't want these late-night trick-or-treaters pestering your mom all night long.
Can we just leave the porch lights off?
Come on, you know they're still gonna ring the doorbell.
Receiving multiple reports about strange events transpiring this Hallows Eve.
Guys, what are we doing? I thought we were going to be partying all night.
Not without that bag.
You have no idea what kind of a mess you made tonight. Bring back the sack and maybe we can stop whatever's gonna happen.
Is that blood? Aos Si?
Feel easily threatened, then they'll hunt all that hinder their chance of survival.
What are we going to do?
Oh, I mean, it's midnight, right? We can outlast it till then. We should be able to get through this.
The Ishi come for thee on the night of Hallows Eve.
All right. Audio keeps going. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron. It's a little bit of a delay there, but...
is there a delay? I'm hearing you just fine.
Oh, okay. I'll keep going.
You're right on. You're doing great.
I'm joined tonight by Frank from Tears Up Cinema.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
And we're absolutely thrilled to have Matt Sampere on to talk about your creeping death horror film, Halloween themed haunted horror. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me on the show. Seriously, the support from you guys and just everybody has meant so much, and it's it keeps me going after years and years of stressing out trying to get this thing done. It's nice to be able to talk to people that really enjoy this.
Yeah, the film was epic, man. We loved it. Great film. Absolutely. I love the shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I gotta rep the merchandise. Someone's got to do it, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I can't wait to chat with you about your film. I'm still getting weird echo, but let's just keep going. Matt, my first question for you is, what was the inspiration for Creeping Death?
I mean, so the inspiration, it really came down to when I was going into making my first movie. I always knew I wanted to make something Halloween themed. I've always been obsessed with the holiday. All the Halloween movies out there. I love those. Trick or Treat, the Halloween franchise, Tales of Halloween, all that. Every year we see so many Christmas movies coming out. There's so many that it's just a never-ending list. But then at Halloween time, I'm like, I feel like I just keep watching the same ones, and I wanted to see something new. I'm like, there's not enough coming out involved with the holiday. And so I knew going into my first movie it was going to be Halloween themed. And once it got to now I'm hearing a delay. Once I started thinking about it, I was like, okay, what's it going to be about? And so I started researching a lot of lore about Halloween, and that's where I came across the lore of the Ishi, in which it's these Celtic spirits that come into our world every Halloween and go door to door in exchange for food and clothing, and if they are appeased, then they bless the towns and the villages so that the people can have a bountiful harvest and survive the winter throughout the next year. And I was like, well, and at that time Krampus had just come out. And I didn't know what the hell Krampus was at that point. No one knew what Krampus was. And so, again, being a big fan of Michael Dougherty and, with Trick or Treat and stuff like that, I immediately fell in love with Krampus. And then suddenly Krampus blew up everywhere. Now everyone knows what Krampus is. I didn't know what it was before. And so I was like, you know what, here is something that is new. It's fresh. No one really knows too much about it. There wasn't a lot of information out there at that time. And I was like, this feels like it's kind of untapped. Let's see what we can do with it and kind of make it our own exciting thing and give it a dark twist. And so we thought, well, what would this look like as a horror movie? I'm like, well, what if people stop believing in the Ishi, right? No one was really believing in it, like they don't believe in Santa, but the Ishi still existed. How are they going to survive? And I'm like, what if they just started taking people from their homes on Halloween night? And I'm like, that would be such a cool visual. And so I just had that idea of people getting ripped out of their homes on Halloween night by these spirits, it burning into my head. And I just kind of went with it and just kept running and developing it over and over and over until it kind of fleshed out into what we have now.
That's epic. Love it. Yeah. So you started writing back during the COVID times on this, towards the end of COVID, started writing?
So the script that we ended up going into production with, I did write during COVID. But this project has been a part of my life since, oh God, I think 2016, 2017. I started writing it about 8 years ago, and it was the first thing that I ever wrote. And I didn't know how to write a script. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to tell a story. I was just watching a bunch of 80s horror movies, which I love, and a lot of them really cheesy. And so I was just kind of trying to make something that fit in that same vein, and it didn't work. We had a lot of production issues going into it. I was trying to shoot this on an iPhone. And so I walked away from the Cliff Notes version. I started it years ago, 8 years ago, walked away from the project, but I already had the monster. I already had the design. I had the mask. We had some test footage and stuff like that. And I kept telling people about this idea. And normally people are just like, "This is a stupid idea. Don't continue with that. Do something else." But everyone kept saying, "You need to make this movie before somebody else does." And I was like, you know what? I keep hearing this. I don't really have another idea that's burning in my mind as much as this one. It's time to really dig back in and do it for real. And so during COVID, I had nothing to do but sit at home. And so I just really dove in and started writing it for real. And that's the film that we went into production with.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, the finished project is definitely amazing, gorgeous all the way through with the Halloween aesthetics. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And there's so much more I wish I could have done with it. I'm so glad that people love it, because that's the one thing I always hear is just how, they love the Halloween atmosphere. And that was a big thing for me, is I want to capture that atmosphere. I don't want it to look like a Halloween movie set in California and you don't have the foliage. It needed to feel like Halloween. Mm-hmm. And so the one thing I consistently hear is that, and I'm just like, man, if you only knew half the stuff we were going to do.
So that was mostly in Syracuse?
Most of it was shot in Syracuse. So in the fall of 2021, like literally 4 years ago, we were wrapping this project. But I went back to my hometown, Syracuse, New York, and we shot there for about 3.5 weeks. And then we still didn't have the mom scene shot. We shot everything out but the stuff with Monique. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know Monique yet at that time. I didn't know who was going to play the mom. And I was like, you know what? Let's shoot everything else, because those, the scenes with Monique, it's just my character and hers. I can be available whenever. And so we shot those almost a year later, and we shot those out here in LA.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I took my AirPods out. I don't know. I was hearing so many different layered audios. It was like the Twilight Zone. Okay,
dude, I was having trouble with my AirPods earlier. Their AirPods are a pain. I've got my backup headphones ready whenever.
All right, maybe I'll go back to them. But if you guys can hear me okay, let's just go without the AirPods.
Absolutely.
Matt, my question for you is, what was it like wearing so many hats? Because you wrote, you directed, you produced, you star as the lead. Oh my gosh, what was it like, taking on so many responsibilities with Creeping Death?
So if you see my hair is kind of blonde right now, it's because I had to hide all the gray. It was probably the dumbest thing I could have done. The hardest thing I could have done. The fact that I haven't had a heart attack from it, I probably haven't. But it was. I knew, filmmaking is hard no matter what. No matter how much money you have, how many people you have, it's still hard. You bring in the right people and make it easier. But to produce everything, to direct everything, and then have to worry about everything behind the camera, and then have to jump in front of the camera and act like everything's fine and try to be a different person. That was the hardest thing I had to do. But luckily, I had so many great actors around me to really just pull me into the zone, and I was able to feed off them. And so, normally I'm always like rehearsing my lines, rehearsing my scenes like way beforehand. But with this, it's like, the rest of our cast is over there prepping the scene, and I'm like, oh my God, do we have this prop? Is the camera right? Do we have the right lens? This is the move. Going over everything. And once that's all settled, it's like, we have to shoot it. We don't have time for me to rehearse the scene out, with everybody. Sometimes we could, but for the most time, it would just, the first we do a rehearsal take. And if we got something great from that, awesome. And then we just did 2 more takes and, and we would move on. And so, and then as soon as that takes over, it's like, how many other fires do I have to put out right now?
Well, let me ask you this. Would you do it again?
At that level, no. It was definitely one of the dumbest things I've ever done. I will say I'm a glutton for punishment. But I would definitely need more, hands in the kitchen doing something like this again, because, it's one thing if you're directing and acting in it, it's already hard on its own, but there's so many great filmmakers, actors, directors that have done that. I mean, I'm obviously not Clint Eastwood, but it's like he's directing and starring in his own movies. There's so many people that do that. Obviously they have years and years and decades of experience on me, but it's like, it is possible. But they also have a great team of producers and, and crew behind them to where they only need to focus on that. And they have enough prep, going into it, or maybe they can just focus more on one thing. Where with this, it's like there were so many things that we had to plan out leading up to production, even such as finding locations. I mean, we were shooting the movie and going, oh my God, we don't know where we're going to go shoot this next scene yet. We haven't locked in a location yet. And so those were things that were always like on my mind every single day, just because, we're a low budget movie. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of crew. And I'm trying to figure all this out, really for the first time.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. I think you did a fantastic job. Everything about your film came together perfectly. And what's so amazing about it is that it's Halloween themed, and it's one that everyone can watch every October, which is another reason why I'm so glad we were able to schedule this with you before Halloween. And I have the Blu-ray copy right here. Creeping Death.
Thank you.
I meant to show it right off, but the audio so threw me in the very beginning. If I only explain what I was hearing, it was oh my gosh. So many layers of us speaking. I couldn't focus on what was live and what wasn't. But anyway,
I totally understand.
Fake Voorhees is on here, and he says, watch Creeping Death. Last year, loved how loaded with Halloween aesthetics it was. Need to pick up the Blu-ray. And
I love that. Thank you, Fake Voorhees, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking it out.
Absolutely. Let's see, Frank. I'll turn it over to you. What's on your list?
Yeah. So, you did the world premiere in London, I believe.
Yeah, we premiered it. We played at Fright Fest, which was a bucket list. I figured maybe like my 3rd or 4th movie might be quality enough to get in. But we said, you know what, screw it. We're just going to take a shot in the dark. And that was the first festival we submitted to. And then we heard back like in a couple weeks, and I'm like, wait, and I was expecting to see that we weren't getting in. And they said, yeah, we're going to world premiere you here. And you're not just playing a small theater, because they have multiple theaters playing multiple movies at the same time. I figured we'd get a little side thing. I'd never been in a film festival before. I've gone to them to watch friends' films every now and then. I'd never had anything play, and I've never been overseas like that before. And so the world premiere was in London in a sold-out IMAX theater.
Wow.
And I was still doing post-production on the movie. And it was one of the best times and one of the scariest times of my entire life. And you definitely learn a lot about filmmaking and editing and everything, and what people really pay attention to and see when your movie is expanded that big,
Oh my God.
It was definitely a learning experience. And literally right before the movie screened, one of the workers at the theater was like, "Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And at that point, I was feeling a little bit better about myself. And they're like, "Well, just to let you know, the last two movies that played on the screen before the festival started were Indiana Jones 5 and Barbie. So good luck." I'm just like,
Nothing to worry
"What?"
about. Nothing to worry about.
Immediately just stressed out of my mind. I'm like, this is not anywhere near those movies.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I love your film. I can only imagine what it was like on the big screen, let alone an IMAX screen. What was it like watching it with an audience and getting their feedback afterward?
It was great to watch with an audience and see like what worked and didn't work. And it's also, I think a movie like this, I'll say this, I think audiences over there are a little bit different than here. And I think there's a lot of like jokes and stuff and humor in the movie that only work if you are from here and you get that. And so I think there was a little bit of a disconnect with some of the audience over there. But a lot of them loved it. It was such, again, everyone has their own opinion on things. And so there were so many people that loved it. And then there were so many people that weren't into it. And that's fine. I mean, that's everything. But to watch with an audience that big for the first time it was terrifying. The only people that had seen this before were family, couple friends, and again, we were still working on it. So it was ready enough to show people. But there was a couple things I wanted to tighten up, and I was like, well, let's see how this goes. Seeing that many people watching this movie was just terrifying. It truly was. It was so much fun, but terrifying at the same time. Because you never expect your first movie to be in front of that many people.
Did you, Frank, I'll let you jump in a second, but did you stay in the theater? Are you the kind of director that you have to hide in the lobby, or did you stay the whole time and watch?
I stayed right there. That will be the last time I watch the movie with an audience. I've watched it with an audience a few times, but I think now I'm at the point where I'll probably watch from outside, on the next one. We'll see. So it's nerve-wracking. It really is. Even now, I'll watch it. My family and my friends, people that haven't seen yet are like, we want to watch the movie, but we want to watch it with you. I'm like, I don't want to watch it with you guys. I'm like, I've watched it a million times. And then after a while, it's like, oh man, I did that. We shot this almost 4 years ago, and it's like, for me, I personally, learned so much and grown as a filmmaker and as an actor and whatnot. So I look back at what it was like for me then, and I was like, what the hell was I thinking then? I could do so much better now. So it's just like,
But it's so cool that we're still 4 years later, we're still talking about it, right? How amazing is that? And I think your film will have longevity and will live on even longer.
Thank you for saying that, because for me that was the goal, is to make something that's going to keep going and going for years to come. And I think we came out last fall, but I think this year it's starting to find more of its audience, and it's continuing to grow. And I think we're going to have, a more positive response this year than we did last year, because more people are talking about it or revisiting it and spreading it to people new. And so, I'm excited to see, like, where does this go 5 years from now? You know what I mean? So, and that was why I wanted to do a holiday themed movie, because I knew going into it, it's like, if I was to make a random horror movie, unless I knocked it out of the park, it's like most of the time people have a movie come out, does great when it first comes out, has a physical release, whatever, and then it fizzles out. And, and the cult following can keep it alive. But it's like with this, it's like with a Halloween film, there's so many ways to keep talking about it. It's like people are celebrating halfway to Halloween. They're celebrating Summerween, and then as soon as like September 1st hits, it's 2 months, and it's just like, great, here's time to be like, hey, did you hear about this last year? Check it out. Here it is. It's still out there. And so that to me, it's so great to see people still talking about it, even a year after it came out.
And now it's the final countdown to Halloween. Frank, I will let you jump in. I'll stop talking.
No, you're good, man. Yeah. Any maybe sequel in the works? Any rights? Anything going on with that? Or
I don't know how much I can say.
Nice. All right. That's fine.
I'm definitely getting some ideas. Going into this movie, I knew I wanted to create a world that I could explore again and expand upon, and I had some brief ideas on where I wanted to go. So I would love to do something, whether it's in this, the same revisiting the same lore, the same characters, or something that can just play in the same universe. I am trying to figure out what the right next steps are, but there's ideas brewing. It's just a matter of time figuring out, like, is there enough interest in this, to get the funding to try and do something else? Because I mean, I would love to do a sequel. I'd love to see this creature, this character come back and hopefully become a, I don't want to say an icon, but become a character that people think of every Halloween. You know what I mean? I would love to see people dressed up as the Ishi every Halloween, stuff like that. So, but I don't know what that's going to look like. It's just a matter of seeing how much interest we can get and if the right opportunities kind of align to do something.
Well, hopefully we do get a sequel and we won't pressure you to say more. I understand how that works. Let's talk a little bit about the creature design, the Ishi design. So the fiery eyes, the pumpkin head, the terrifying garb. How did that come about? What was the process for creating the Ishi as we see in your film?
So, at the time when I was writing this, there was not a lot of information about the Ishi out there. There were talk of them. I did a lot of research saying that they were these spirits, came in our world, and they were dressed in costumes. Some were hideous, some were beautiful, some wore disguises to blend in with humans on Halloween. And so, but I couldn't find any sort of like interpretations of what they were. And some, there was also word of them saying that they were like kind of like more dwarf size type spirits. And so I was like, you know what, this is kind of, because it's on, something new, let's just make it our own, have fun with it, And so, that's when I started thinking about like what it would look like. And so all I had available to me at the time was Michael Myers masks. And a buddy of mine, his name is Jimmy Falco. He's a mask maker, and so he had a bunch of blank Michael Myers masks just laying around his place. And so I was like, dude, I got this idea. I want it to have a like jack-o'-lantern type face. I want it to be glowing eyes. That's all I got. Let's go from there. I don't know what the hair looks like. I think it should be different. And so we just took a Michael Myers mask and we just started messing with it. And we're like, all right, let's make it look gray. Let's, we cut out the eyes, we cut out the mouth. And I don't have, it's in my other room, I'd show you, but I have like the original mask that was kind of like the concept that we came up with. But we came up with something that kind of looked similar to a jack-o'-lantern mixed with the monster from Sinister. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And like, once we messed with the mask enough, I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't even look like a Michael Myers mask anymore. And so that's where the mask idea came from. And then as far as the rest of the outfit, that changed kind of throughout the years. My interpretation was, this spirit is using whatever it has access to. They're all kind of dressed in their own, each of them have their own kind of wardrobe. And so going into the feature, I started thinking about like, okay, if these spirits are taking, food and, and harvesting stuff to bring back in their own world, they're probably going to use everything that they have, at their disposal to, whether to be tools or clothing or whatever. So it's like, what if they like take something? What if they like take people back and start skinning them and turning it into a jacket? And so the original idea was to have a jacket the monster wears that was people's skin or animal skin all sewed together. And so, and then I was like, that is a little bit too leather facey. I didn't want to exactly do that, but I still wanted to have something like that. And so then we had our costume designer, Stacy Chrysler, who she was like, well, what if we just get leather? Let's just make it be leather because, that still kind of plays like it's using, something from, something from its harvest. And I was like, great, that's awesome. I love that idea. Where the hell are we going to get a leather jacket with our budget? We can't do that. And so she was like driving around one day and she found this old rotting leather couch on the side of the road. And
oh my gosh.
And she grabbed it, stripped it, and made these jackets. And I'm like, that's it. That's so cool. And then we just kind of took like, we looked at other kind of like Celtic garb and stuff like that, and took these like Celtic boots and, just a bloody kind of gray shirt, and just kind of just started throwing things, spitballing things together that kind of made it look unique and that would mesh well with the mask that we already created. And that's what kind of came to be with the monster we have now. And so I'd love to even expand upon its look going into something else if that was to happen.
Yeah, perhaps an evolution of the Ishi mask and get up. Cool. Well, count me in. I'm excited. Yeah. Count me in. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Let's go.
I have a couple like question movies that aren't related to your film that I thought would be kind of fun. And the first one is, what's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you?
Oh man,
I'm putting you on the spot.
There's a lot of creepy things. Because I'm sitting here, I will say, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's been a lot, but the Cliff Notes version is actually where I'm sitting right now. I was actually working. I was probably cutting the trailer for the movie at this point, but this was about 2 years ago. I was sitting in my office in my place, and one day I heard this knocking at my door, and I have a Ring doorbell. And so I usually look at my phone to see who's there. And so I checked my phone, and the Ring doorbell didn't go off. And then I'm looking through it. There's no one at the front door. And I clear as day am hearing this knocking. And it was knocking in threes. Knock, knock, knock. Knock,
Oh my
knock,
gosh.
knock. And so finally I'm like, what
That's
the hell
terrifying.
is that? And so I went downstairs and I hear it. I can feel the vibrations of the knocking through the walls, coming towards me. And so I walked to the front door, opened up. There's no one there. And then all of a sudden the knocking comes to the side of my house. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I'm like, okay, the neighbors are probably doing something outside. So I walk over to the side of the house, look out the window. As soon as I look out the window, the knocking stops and I hear it. I love how a light just went out as I'm telling the story.
Yeah.
This is freaking me out.
You know what? Things are going to
start
start falling off the shelves.
I want you to see this. I'm telling you right now
be-
because dude. So okay, this is terrifying me right now.
It's going to
Okay.
change from an interview to a true haunt.
It's
Yeah.
paranormal investigation. I'm glad so many weird things have happened here while I've been working on the movie or doing anything for
If
it.
you're here with us, what are you trying to tell us? Keep
Oh
going.
man, don't do that to me right now. I've got my Ouija board. Don't make me get it out.
Oh yikes. Okay.
And so anyways, I hear the knocking coming from upstairs. And so I come upstairs in my living room and I heard it coming from my laundry room. And I was on the phone with somebody because I was so scared. And it sounded like all of a sudden the knocking started like banging. It sounded like my washer and dryer were banging against each other, except they weren't on. And so I grabbed a pair of scissors and I'm on the phone. And I'm like, I'm about to open the door. I'm like, if there's anyone in here, I'm like, you better stop. Dude, I kick open the door and all of a sudden the knocking is across the ceiling. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? All right, it's an animal on the roof. It's an animal that's going around the house. This is so strange. I hear you, fake Voorhees. Dude, so I'm like, okay, it's an animal outside. And so I go outside. There's nothing at all. And so I come back in and I'm like, no one is going to believe a single thing if I'm like, if I don't record this. And so I came back in and I started recording. And again, I hear the knocking and it's like, of course it's not as aggressive once my phone is out, but again, clear as day, you can hear knock, knock, knock. And I point the camera where I hear it. And then it moves to another point in the house. And then after like it lured me back upstairs, it just stopped. And I have no idea what it was, any explanation. And it freaks me out. And that's happened only at least once since that happened. And I still have no explanation. And, I was telling my roommate about it because he was like, really, I showed him the video of what I captured earlier that day. He heard the knocking and he's like, maybe there's something in the attic. And so we went into the attic space that we never went into before. Nothing up there, no signs of any animals or anything. But like, dude, clear as day. I heard like knocking or something scurrying across the top floor. And yeah. So, and now the light turning off while I'm telling you that story in the same room where this was happening is one of the
Okay,
creepiest
I have to
things.
ask, do you think it's the Ishi?
I wish. But it was around Christmas time, so I don't think I got to worry
Oh,
about that.
okay. So it was maybe Krampus.
Yeah,
All right.
if it was Krampus, Krampus can take me and just, pull me out of my misery.
Of course. Yeah. Yes. All right. That was fun. Frank, what do you have, man?
Yeah, didn't you guys? I think you did spend like 4 hours making the corn maze or something on your own up there.
Dude, that was that was a nightmare.
That must have been a workout. Yeah.
What we originally told was that we were going to be showing, the farm owner what we wanted the maze to be and show him where we wanted it to be cut, and he was going to go over it with a tractor. And again, that was the plan. That, or else I would have went to a corn maze and found a location that already had one cut. And so we get there, and they're like, yeah, we'll cut it wherever. Here's a machete. And so it's me and my buddy Ian, who plays Tramer in the film, and we have one machete, and so he's like cutting them, and then I'm pulling them up and tossing them out of the way. And dude, we spent so much time cutting that fucking maze.
Oh my
I
God,
never want to
yeah.
do that again, especially like at the end of the movie when it, we come into that big open area. I mean, dude, we cut that by hand. We didn't even have it ready until right beforehand, and we had almost, everybody had their hands in more than one department on this movie to make it come together. It just didn't, we didn't have the money or the people for everybody to focus on one thing. So like literally that day that we were shooting that ending scene, Ian was still trying to like clean that area up just so we can go shoot it. He was doing some set dressing on it because, originally the center of the maze was supposed to be just a mound of bodies in the center. And we were originally still in the film, you see us hiding amongst other bodies, but we were supposed to be hiding on a pile of bodies, and like blood was going to be dripping down her face from all of like the Ishi's harvest and stuff like that. And arms were going to be all over, and it was going to be so much more grotesque. But when we were shooting, we were shooting during COVID. And so I was like, there's no way I can get 50 people together in the space to then lay on top of each other in the cold with fake blood. And so we had to be safe. And I'm like, okay, we can't, we can't pull off the scene the way we wanted to. So it just wasn't possible.
And just think about the money for all those COVID tests you would have had to purchase.
Dude. Oh God. Yeah,
you would have
that
made
was
the
not
news.
A fun time.
If 50 people at a movie shoot all come down with COVID.
Yeah,
that would have been some good publicity.
I don't know if we want that kind of publicity. No, that's the thing. We created this hub to do this. All of us were basically staying together to shoot this movie, which was so awesome because it was such a fun. It was almost like camping in a way, I would say, because everybody was just together, at all times, so that we could make this and and keep everybody safe. And I think people it's so weird thinking back about that time, because I'm like, why didn't I do this different or this different or this different? And I'm like, oh yeah, because we were in the middle of a pandemic. Like that's why.
Well, it's fantastic that you accomplished this during a pandemic too. That's not easy. So you mentioned Ian Brown, who plays Tramer. We also have Delian Lincourt, who plays Danielle, Hunter Cole, who plays Nate, Ellis St. John is PJ, Cody Hunt is Isaac. Let's see, who did I miss? Your mother is played by Monique Parent. My question for you is, what was the casting process like? You mentioned that Ian was your friend, or is everyone else your friends too? And that's what made it so much fun working together.
So
speak a little bit. Speak
Ian
to that.
Was always been one of my closest friends. He was in the short film with me, and anytime he had a project, I was always helping him out with it, whether it was a music video or whatever. And anytime I was doing something, he was always helping me out. And so I just knew immediately he was going to be involved, because it's hard to think about doing anything without him. I kind of have this thing now where any project I'm doing, I have to kill him in. Doesn't matter if it's just a cameo or whatever. So if there was ever to be a sequel, I would have to find a way to put him in it, even if it's just on the TV in the background of him getting like killed. But he was a friend
like your
of mine.
Kenny from South Park.
Well, exactly. That's kind of like the running joke I kind of want to have. Jody Puccello, who played the cop, he was a buddy of mine. One of my first acting roles ever was in a movie. It never came out, but it was in a movie, in a scene playing with him. And so, and I was so self-conscious and so nervous even going into that first role. And I came up to him at the end of the day. I'm like, how did I do? I'm like, how terrible was I? What do I do better? And he was just so kind and encouraging and saying like, you nailed it. Like, here's what you can focus on, but like, just keep going. And so I wanted him to be in it. We had fallen out of touch for a while, and we got reconnected right before shooting. So Jody was a buddy, and then Scott Lee, who plays my father, him and I worked together on a music video that I did years prior, and he played my dad in that music video. So when I was doing the feature, one of my first calls was, hey, do you want to be my dad again? And then Monique I met beforehand. We worked on a movie called That's a Wrap. And so I met her on that. And again, we were still trying to find the mom. and we just really connected on that set. And so I was like, hey, would you be interested in this? And then everybody else, I pretty much, we did an auditioning process, a casting process online through Backstage. And, everybody that came out, like, honestly, the people that we got were, they were the best choices, and they were almost like the first people I looked at. I went through everybody, but I always went back to them the whole time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even interested in hearing other people read. As soon as I saw all of their tapes come in, I'm like, these are the guys. And I still get chills when Hunter sent me his audition tape. I was like, this is the guy. I don't even want to see anything else, because he just nailed it. He knocked it right out of the park. And so, it was I was casting people out of I was working at a post house at the time out here in LA. And I was like, on my breaks, I was looking at audition tapes and setting up times to call people back and be like, hey, do you want to come do this? Yeah, we're still going to, we're going to shoot it in New York in the fall. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet. It's going to be wild, but let's do it. If you're down, we'd love to have you.
Oh, the stars aligned. Yeah. And the chemistry between all you and all of the cast is just unbelievable. It all worked out for the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I think I did right, was getting the right team together, because honestly, if not for those guys too, I mean, they helped me so much, just feeling comfortable enough to then be an actor in this, because they had all been so, experienced. And I just felt like I wasn't at their level, and I felt like they really helped elevate me as an actor with, everything they brought to the table. And so I'm so thankful for all of them. They would always come to me with ideas for how they should block it. What if we say the line this way? And I'm like, I love it. And, thank you for taking the time to do that on your own without waiting for me to say something. And so it's awesome to come, get in front of the camera and them already having fleshed ideas out.
Yes. Yeah. So it sounds like it was a fun and collaborative environment, which is fantastic. And
absolutely,
Frank, before I let you jump in, I also, speaking of casting, Alan Maxon, who plays the Ishi, what was it like casting the villain? What sort of steps do you go through, and what did you go through to find Alan?
So that actually, it's funny. I should have said Alan should have been one of the first people I mentioned. He's going to kick my ass now. Alan, I worked with him. As one of the first jobs I had when I moved out here. Is where I met Alan on. He was playing a monster in another project, and I was like, if I ever do a movie, I'd love to have you play my creature. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. And I'm like, yeah, if I ever do a movie, because it just seemed so far-fetched. Obviously, this is all I ever wanted to do, and this is all my goal has been since I moved out here, is making something. But it's so fucking hard. It's impossible to do it. And the people that get it done, whether it's good or bad, the fact that they got it done, kudos, because it is not easy, and if it was, everybody would be doing it, and so I met him, and then right before I was starting to put it together, he was doing an Indiegogo for his film, and then we started talking back and forth, and I didn't think he was going to want to do this, but he was the only guy I knew that was a really good creature actor, and so him and I had just really built a relationship, just talking about his movie, and finally was like, hey, dude, I'm also doing this. I would love to have you part of it if you're interested. And he's like, yeah, send me over the script. And so I sent him the script, and the following day, he's like, dude, I am in. He's like, this is what I think it should do. This is how it should move. Yeah. And I was like, you really want to do this movie with me? You really want to? And because he was such an established creature actor, I was like, he's not going to want to do something like this. I'm a first-time feature director. That's a huge... it can be a gamble. And so I'm so grateful that he did. And, we had him for only a few days, but he brought so much to the table that I couldn't have asked for anybody better to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. How tall is he in real life? Just out of curiosity, is he super tall, 6'5"?
I'm 6'1". He's slightly taller than me. I would maybe say 6'5", maybe 6'3". 6'3", a couple inches taller than me, and then when we give him those boots, he definitely goes up a couple more inches too. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so cool. I just want to point out that Deandra is here. Hi, Deandra. Thank you for joining. And
who the hell is Sassy Sledgehammer?
Yeah, right?
Oh, Deandra. Jeez.
Oh, my gosh. With that, Frank, I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, man, I'm kind of, how do you make everything look so real? Practical effects, definitely on point. I mean, final kills, everything.
Like, that was it's so hard to do that. And it's all just a matter of, and I learned this from just hearing how Jaws was cut. It's like you need to know the exact frame to cut on. And, and that's the thing. Practical effects it's hard to get them right. And, and I think with this movie, it was such a perfect mix of practical and VFX, whether it's the gore stuff or even the effects with the monster. I mean, the face itself, I mean, we had it practical, we had the mask, we had LEDs in the eyes. I can show you if you want to see, like, we had the LEDs in the eyes, but then in post, we had to use VFX to enhance it and put the fire in there and make it look a little bit more real. And so we just had to marry the two. And so, it's a mix of that, knowing what to hold on, knowing what not to hold on. And, because that's the thing, there's a lot of times as a director, you want to hold on a certain shot or whatever, because you spent so much time and money doing it. But sometimes you just, 1 second is enough for the audience to get it without it. And if you hold longer, it could just play as too fake. So you just need to know what you're doing when it comes to that.
Yeah. Did your pops help you with the mask? I think you said, with the light up.
My dad put the lights in the eyes. I will say that mask, it's so uncomfortable to wear. It is not fun at all. And so we have lights in there. And so I'm actually, so half the time, when we didn't have Alan, like, there were a lot of, inserts and stuff we had to get that we weren't able to grab when he was there. So all the extra coverage that we have of the monster is just me in the costume. And so I had to put it on. And if you watch the movie again, you might be able to see it. The mask gave me a scratch down the side of my neck. And so you'll see, like, throughout the movie, the scratch that's there from after I had to do a scene where I put the mask on and it caught me. So it's not fun at all. It's tight. And then on top of that, it's like we had like almost like a cowl, but like almost like a black, like, ski mask type thing to black out the eyes, to black out the mouth and stuff. So it's a mask on top of the mask. And then you have the lights going. And so that's blinding you. And then it's just so tight in there. It's so hard. And so, I mean, the fact that Alan was able to keep his patience and keep his cool wearing that thing, like, dude, I could tell when he was not having a good time in that mask, because it's not fun to wear it. So that's something I need to reconstruct when it comes time to doing another one. But, you make do with what you have.
Yeah, of course. You make it work. Do you want to grab it? I don't want to put you on.
You want to see it?
I'd love to see it.
I'll show you. Don't mind the purple sweatpants.
Oh, that's okay.
All right, so here is.
I'm wearing maroon sweatpants.
These are so we're cosplaying as some people from Nightmare on Elm Street this weekend, and these are my pants. Cool. All right, let's see. So this is the stunt mask that we use.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, this is not the main one we use, but anytime, like, if we were like slamming like the pumpkin over it, if there was going to be stuff where it could really get damaged, this is the one that we used. And so you can see back here.
Yes.
There's this like foam padding, and then right in here is all the wiring. And so.
And is that wiring what caught you?
That is what caught me. Well, on the other one, the padding came off. And so you can't see because it's so bright right now. And this mask is, it's 4 years old. But you can see there is a practical kind of glow right there. And so you can kind of see it. When it's dark, it definitely comes through more. And so there's like little knobs in here that let you change like the hue of the eyes. It really only, I guess this one only goes to, it almost looks green there. But so that's what we used. And we just wanted something subtle enough where it looked like you could see a little bit within the eyes. And then if we were to have the actors close by, you could see the light spilling onto their faces. So that's what we had. And then, but again, when you're wearing this thing, you can't see what you're doing. It's so hard.
Of course.
And then the VFX just really helped bring that to life. And I think if we didn't have the bulbs in there, I don't know if the eyes would have looked as good if it was just all VFX.
That's true. I mean, they look awesome in the film. So the final product looks so good and so scary too. And before I forget, can you say a little bit about the Creeping Death shirt you're wearing and other shirts I understand that you've created, which I have to get my hands on one. But
so we haven't
talk about those.
Yeah, if you go to creepingdeathmovie.com, we have an entire merch store there. We have 3 different t-shirt designs. We have this. We have the shot that everybody seems to gravitate towards, where we first see the monster under the arch. We have a shirt with that image, and then we have a shot of or another shirt, it's a glow in the dark shirt, where you see the first image of the Ishi holding the sack in the book. We have that design that Dave Dick Illustrations drew for us, as well as this one. So we have glow in the dark shirts of that, hoodies, we have mugs, we have pretty much anything you can put a logo on our website. And so, all this, anybody that supports us and, and donate, or not donates, but anybody that purchases anything on our website, all that money is going to go to hopefully getting another one off the ground. So, I would love to, like I said before, do something else. It's just a matter of we can get the money to do it right, because like I said, this first one nearly killed me, and I know where I would like it to go. It's just a matter of getting, the resources to pull it off. So, if you love the first one, please check out our site and, and help support how you can, because all those proceeds are going to something else.
To something else. Yeah, no, I love that. I love the shirts. I'll put the link in the description for our video afterward, and also purchase a Blu-ray, because it may help something that will come in the future. I love
Absolutely.
being vague. The vagueness is quite...
Me too.
Yeah, so I have another fun question that I want to ask. What's one movie or movies that you watch every year on Halloween, other than Creeping Death, of course?
It's funny. I just pulled all my Halloween themed movies off the shelf earlier today, just to start having a marathon. I watch, even though it's not technically a Halloween movie, and I've said this before so many times, one of my all-time favorite movies is Pumpkinhead, and that is such, I need to watch it every fall. I don't, and honestly, I think I associate that movie with fall so much because the first time I saw it was in November, and so it feels like actually really good after Halloween kind of movie. But that movie, just as soon as fall comes around, it is always in my rotation. I watched the second one earlier today, and I'm gonna say it is a Halloween movie because there's a shot in the movie where a pumpkin falls and breaks in the movie right before I can't remember who gets killed. I think it's Linnea Quigley. I think she's in that. But anyways, I'm like, what? This feels like a Halloween movie, but and pumpkin being in the name. But that movie I always gravitate towards. Obviously, you have the classics. You have Trick or Treat. You have all the Halloween movies.
Of course.
Rob Zombie's Halloween movie is an absolute must watch for me, 1 and 2.
Do you like Rob Zombie's Part 2?
Oh yeah. Actually,
I know it gets a lot of hate, but I'm a fan of that one. How about
I
you?
just
Frank?
bought The Mask.
They're both fun, yeah. I'm all for many more Michael Myers films.
Absolutely. I would love to see him take the mantle back.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. You put him in a meat grinder or whatever, they grind him up and he'll come back. I hear the new Halloween fan film that just came out is quite good.
I've been seeing that all over. I haven't watched it. I want to check that out though.
Yeah, and it's feature length. It's like 2 hours long.
Oh my god!
Wow!
Right? That was my reaction.
Jesus, I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've got to check that out for sure because I see so many people talking about it. It looks great. It looks like it has everything that we need for a Halloween film. And honestly, it's like if the studios can't figure out what to do with it, I want to see this kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too. Count me in. I haven't watched it yet, but I will. One other question I wanted to ask you is, in addition to the horror elements you have in Creeping Death, there's also a lot of human and dramatic elements, particularly with your character's relationship with your mother. What I think you do really nicely in Creeping Death is the setup. So you really get to know these characters, their backstory, especially the character you play. And then when the horror really starts to happen, you actually care about these characters. And for the most part, you want them to survive. Was that always your intention? And why do you think the sort of dramatic elements work so well in horror?
I think having the drama in horror, I think just definitely makes you feel for the characters more. And Walking Dead has always been something that has inspired me. I mean, that every Sunday that was my church every time it came on. And like, I didn't care about, obviously I was there to watch zombies ripping people apart, but like, I wanted to know about these characters, and anytime a character gets taken off, like you felt that. I was so depressed for weeks, like when they killed Carl, when Glenn died, when all these characters died, and it's like, well, what makes you care for them? And obviously, it's a lot easier I guess, to say, to make you care for those characters when you're watching them for 3, 4, 5 seasons or whatever. In a 90-minute movie, it's really hard to make you connect. And so, but I knew I wanted to have characters that hopefully people could either relate to or you can get to know them, so that when the horror sets in, you're like, I either want people to be like, fuck yes, kill that bitch, like fucking get them, or
There's a
no, I
little
hope
bit
that
of
person
that.
isn't
No,
next.
no spoilers, but yeah. Keep
But
going.
yeah, again, like King Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
That
I
little
wanted
twerp.
him dead
Yes.
so many times.
Oh my
I couldn't
gosh.
wait. I couldn't wait.
Yes.
And so, I see people
But then
saying
weren't
like,
you kind
"Oh."
of sad when he was gone? I mean, no spoilers. I guess if you haven't watched Game of Thrones by now.
I wish they could have like done an episode where they went back in time and then killed him again. But I think I think you need to have that kind of stuff, and I think that's what makes horror movies stand apart, I think, from other ones, as opposed to, again, I love Friday the 13th, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, all of the Halloweens, all of them, but I think
Absolutely.
there's a lot of them that just I don't connect to a lot of the characters in some of those movies at all, and then again, all the other, I don't want to say ripoffs and stuff, but all the other ones that try to emulate the same thing. And it's like, I want to hopefully create something that will make someone connect to, or be like, I have a friend that's just like that,
Yes.
whether they like that person or not. And so I wanted to create characters that's maybe were people could, be like, yeah, I know someone just like that. Let's see what happens to them.
Mhm. You have to care a little bit emotionally about these characters. I feel like horror movies that jump right to the horror quickly and don't have any of that sort of build up, they just end up feeling kind of flat and forgettable.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm like, if I didn't have that build up, especially that scene, the big kind of ultimatum in the movie, that scene, I don't think would have any weight to it if there wasn't that setup. And it's definitely a slow burn at the beginning. And I think I don't think people expect there to be a little bit of a slow burn in a slasher movie. I think they expect it right off the bat. And that was one of the things that we changed, because originally there wasn't, in the script, there was an opening kill. And we shot the original opening scene and it just didn't work. So I cut it. And the movie opened up with me in the pumpkin patch. And then it wasn't until 40 minutes into the movie, 45 minutes in, you realize it's a slasher film. And at first, people were kind of losing interest when we were doing a little bit of a test screening. And so I was like, we need an opening scene to let you know what this is going to be, what it's leading to, before we get into the drama and the slow burn stuff. And then once you have all that information to hopefully carry you to when it, goes crazy, then it's just balls to the wall fun. That was my intent with that.
Yeah, I love that smashing pumpkin intro there. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's so good. It works so well. So speaking of the pumpkin patch, there's a very creepy atmosphere to your film that carries through from the beginning all the way to the end. What were some of the challenges to bringing that to life? Like when they filmed the original Halloween, they brought in fake leaves, or they used the same leaves over and over, the same pumpkin on the different doorsteps. Did you have any challenges making it feel so creepy and atmospheric as it does?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, I love it. Please share more.
and that's why I wanted to shoot the movie in New York, because I grew up there, and the fall is so beautiful. Yeah. And I've never seen a movie, that's really captured the feeling of fall, except movies like, Trick or Treat, or God, I can't think of too many. Some of the Halloween movies do, but like the rest of them, it's like they're set on Halloween, but I don't feel like it's Halloween. I don't get the pumpkin patch vibe. I don't see the foliage and stuff like that. So I really wanted to capture that, and that was extremely important to me, especially if this movie was to have any type of longevity or whatever. And so, obviously the weather-wise, it would have been better to probably shoot this in the summer, but I'm like, all right, let's do it in the fall. And so we started shooting this movie. I think our first date was like September 18th or something like that. And I was like, all right, the fall foliage should be kicking in. And at this point, I had moved away for I think I'd been away for 3 years at this point. And so I was like, yeah, it should be kicking in. And so day one of production, I'm like, the leaves are still green. what the hell? And so, and then everyone's like, yeah, dipshit, you've been away for so long. You forgot that like it doesn't start to turn orange until like middle of October. And I'm like, oh my God. And so I literally we had to punt all of our daytime exterior scenes to the end so that we could get that foliage. And then even then there was still so much B-roll and whatnot that at least took place where you would see the colors. And so I wasn't able to get that. So I went back to New York the following year. I wanted this movie to come out way sooner, but I wanted it to do right. And so I went back to New York the following year with my camera when the foliage was at its peak season and just shot B-roll like that montage at the beginning of the movie that's my little homage to the Halloween 4 opening. Yeah. So we shot that the following year. My buddy, my producing partner, Tyler Dane Sutton, and we just drove around in a car out in the countryside where we were already shooting the movie the year prior and just trying to get all this B-roll and inserts and just finding the best stuff that we could. And we had the Halloween 4 intro on YouTube and we're like, oh my God, look at what they did here. Like, what if we tried doing something like this? And that was just so much fun because, again, I love that movie. That opening is so iconic in horror history. And I wanted to do something that just kind of felt a little similar to that.
Nice.
Well, it looks so good. And is it a real pumpkin patch? Did you have to bring in like fake pumpkins, or is it real for the most part?
Yeah.
It was a real pumpkin patch.
Yep, luckily Frost Farms, they opened up their doors for us, and so the exterior of the barn, like when you see the boot stomp down and all those pumpkins go out, and there's that barn, like that was all on their property. They had the pumpkin patch, and the corn maze was all on their property, and they were just so gracious to let us come shoot there. And I mean, it was all real. It was a real operating pumpkin farm. So, during the day they were operating, and then at night we would come in and start shooting. And then we had one day, again, they were still operating, but like that opening scene when I'm in the pumpkin patch, like they were operating that day. And you can see a couple of people like that were there, a couple customers on the background and stuff. We had to bring in extras and stuff too to fill out that pumpkin patch a little bit more. But no, it was an operating pumpkin patch, and it was just for me, it was just so much fun because it's like, man, I'd live on a pumpkin patch if I could.
Right? That's like what dreams are made of. Let's see, Frank, I do have some questions from Mike Freeman 77.
Yeah.
Couldn't make it tonight, but do you have anything you want to jump in before I go to those?
Yeah. What about the soundtrack that just came out? How long was that?
Right,
and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the soundtrack, which should be available tomorrow on all digital, streaming platforms. So again, my buddy Ian Brown and I, he produces all of my music. I'm a rock musician. I have my own project called Sampere, and Ian has produced all my stuff for me the last 5-6 years. And I mean, he's just so fucking talented at what he does. And so I knew when we were scoring the movie, I knew I wanted to have my hands in it, and I knew he was going to be the one that I was going to do. We talked about this before we even shot the thing, which was so weird because we never thought we'd even get the movie to this point where we'd be scoring it. And so I went back to his place. I had what I considered a pretty final cut. And I went back to his place in the winter of 2023, and I locked myself in his home studio with him for, God, well over a month. And together we were just going over the sound design, the score, just coming up with ideas. And we had just so much stuff that spilled out of us. Half of it didn't even make the movie, but we have it for future reference if we'll ever need anything else again. And so we just spent so much time.
Yes, keep going.
And then we tested it out. Like there was that. For me, I don't move on from something. I don't call something complete until I like get goosebumps or chills and be like, whoa, like that worked. And so I'd play the movie for people. I'd watch it over and over. And there's some parts where like the movie kicks in. I'm like, or the music kicks in. I'm like, this is good. I can't think of anything better. And then there were moments where I'm like, okay, this could use a little bit of a revamping. And so then again, I went back later that year. And even after our test screening in London, after our premiere in London, I went back and we rescored a couple more scenes. Actually, the track we dropped today, Love at First Sight, that was one that wasn't initially in the film. I just felt that scene could be so much more impactful if music was different. And that's my favorite kill in the movie, where that music is playing. And I'm like, we need something memorable here. And so we went back and did that. And even Pumpkin Smash, which Bloody Disgusting just shared today. I always wanted Monster Mash to play on the radio during that opening. And obviously we can't get the rights to that or anything. And so I'm like, you know what? let's just make our own. Let's do the Weird Al version of Monster Mash. And so, and again, like we only needed 15 seconds of a song for the movie, right? And so
right.
we started, recording it. I came up with a quick verse, quick chorus, boom. And then I was like, we should make this a whole song. It was just too much fun. It just kept flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing. And so, dude, I think we wrote that song, recorded, and had the whole thing mixed and mastered in like 2 hours. I mean, we did that quick, and I love it. And I'm like, I'm going to put this out as a full song. It's just so much fun. And, there's not enough Halloween music. I can't name too many Halloween songs. I'm like, boom, here's another one. It's my love letter to Monster Mash. So,
no, you're absolutely right. Monster Mash. Monster Mash is the only one. So, I love that.
Check out Pumpkin Smash.
Yeah, love it.
Check out Pumpkin Smash. Yes. Okay, let's see. So Mike Freeman, 77, couldn't make it, but he did give me a couple questions to ask. And the first one, let's see. Creeping Death deals with a group of teens looking for fun on Halloween night. Are teens better subjects in a horror flick than those pesky adults?
It's funny when I see people saying we're teens, because in the movie, and we don't really clarify what age we are, but to me, we're mid-20s, early to mid-20s. We're kind of in that group of, we're the people that kind of went to our local college. We kind of hung around town. We really haven't figured out our lives yet. And so we're kind of like too old to be trick-or-treating, but we're too young to be like knowing what we're doing. And like, we're still at that point where we're partying and having fun, but we're starting to figure out if we're going to, what the next step of our life is. Are we gonna, I came from a small, town. And so I was like, what's something that feels, I wanted it to feel kind of like the group of kids that I grew up with. And I stuck around in my hometown until I was in my mid-20s. I didn't know where I was going. And so that to me was, we were kind of young adults, I should say.
Young adults.
And so
without responsibilities yet.
Yeah, without too much responsibility yet, but where the responsibility starts to creep up on you a little bit. Mm-hmm. Wow, I was not setting myself up for that pun, but that worked.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. The fear is setting in, is creeping in. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect.
In my mind's like, this is their last Halloween to be all together and have fun. Again, it's nothing that we talk about too much, but we also do, we have those moments where my character with the mom is like, you should be off doing this, having friends. Go follow your dreams, go do, what you want to do with your life, and you're hanging out here still, like go live it. And so, this is me and all my hoodlum friends kind of hanging out, before we're off going to do, whatever it is, we're adult things. This is our last chance. That's the way I saw it. So when I see people saying they're teenagers, they're too old to be playing teenagers, I'm like, no one said we're teenagers. No one said that at all.
Oh man, I love that. Okay, let's see. One more question from him, and that
I don't know if I answered his question, by the way. I'm sorry.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess people just like to see younger people in films. Or I don't know. Depends. Let's see. There have been some cool classic horror films set on Halloween night, like Carpenter's Halloween franchise and Creepshow. What do you hope your film adds to this well-loved genre?
For me, I just wanted to. I wanted to make a movie that people would want to add to their Halloween watch list, something that felt a little bit different from everything else that's out there. Obviously, we have Halloween. Fucking love that movie, obviously. Those movies are never going away. But I wanted to show, some of these, they don't tap into the lore and where the holiday is from. Trick or Treat had done that, which I love, but there's still so much that's been untapped. And so I just wanted to create something that helped people understand the holiday a little bit more and bring something fun to it that, hopefully will stand out from what's already out there. And so, I really just want this to be a movie, whether they're just putting it on in the background or they're sucked in and watching it. I just want people to be like, it's fall, an October night, and let's put something on and, let's revisit this movie. Let's do something that, and this movie is a little bit heavier than a lot of the other movies. And I just, hope that we made something that people can enjoy and get set for that fall, the fall feel and getting ready for Halloween. I think I answered the question.
I think that was an excellent answer. I love it, and I think I speak for Frank here that this is a movie that I will be watching every October from here on out. It's a must this time of year. let's see. I told you that before we started, we do a this or that segment where I ask you two things. You just pick one or the other. But before we do that, obviously you can get the Blu-ray. I keep showing it because I love it. You can get the Blu-ray on Amazon. But how else can you watch Creeping Death if you do not have a physical copy?
So obviously, like you said, we have the physical copies, and I'm so glad because, I just never felt like this would be done until I had the final copy and I could put it on my shelf. But it's on Tubi and Prime Video. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Frank has it too. There it is.
Thank you, guys.
Had to grab my copy.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. I wondered. I was like, oh my God, Frank's done.
I was like, should I put my copy over here? Just to show. I don't know if you guys had one. But it's streaming free right now on Prime Video, Tubi, and also we're still on Screenbox. So, we have a little over a week left. So I'd love to see the movie get back into the top 10. So last year we were about 3 weeks #1 on Screenbox. And then Terrifier 3 came and, kind of kicked our ass again, which is to be expected, which I love.
Yes.
But I'd love to see it get back up there and see people, revisiting on there as well, too.
Yeah, so damn cool. And congratulations on a Bloody Disgusting presented film and a Screenbox exclusive.
Thank you so much, guys.
All around.
Thank you.
Yes, for sure. All right. So like I said, usually it's kind of fun. And in most cases, there's no right or wrong answer. The this or that segment, Frank, I'll kick it off. And the first one is Trick or Treat 2007, which we talked about, or Trick or Treat from 1986, the rock and roll Halloween film.
I mean, I showed you this. I got it. You know my answer.
So we know your answer.
I need to watch.
That's awesome.
The other one again. I put it on last night, but I was falling asleep because I was so tired. I was just down the road for the last 2 months, and so I've just been so drained. So last night was my first night in my bed in forever, and so I put that on because I'm like, I haven't seen this in a while. In 5 minutes, I'm out. So, but no matter what, even if I, was to really enjoy that, you're not beating Sam. I love Trick or Treat so much. Michael Dougherty is a genius with that.
So one of the best. Yeah.
Love that one. A lot of fun.
Trick or Treat from 1986 is a fun one too, but you're right. It's not.
I'm a metalhead too, so I know I'm going to enjoy that one. I haven't seen it in so long, so I don't remember it, but my first attempt at watching it was, God, when I was like 13, and I saw Gene Simmons and Ozzy on the cover, expecting them to be in there, and then when they were barely in it, I'm like, this isn't what I thought it was. So now I feel like if I go back and revisit it, I would probably enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah, and you still have a week left. Halloween isn't here yet, so we still have a week to go.
I might have to pick up the 4K of that and then watch it.
Oh, yes, there's a nice 4K.
Yeah, that 4K. I need to watch that too, the 4K. I've only seen the Blu-ray. But still, we'll see how it is.
All right, Frank, over to you, man.
I guess Halloween night, are we doing the blowout costume party or a movie marathon at home?
What am I doing, you're asking? Or what would I choose?
Yeah, I guess what you would choose.
I don't know. Both.
Yeah, both.
I would rather start the night off at a big party because I love to be around people. I love to see what people are wearing in the costumes and the games and all that. And I love hearing people tell scary stories. And Halloween to me, it's a communal experience. I love being out as a kid trick-or-treating and being, with friends and seeing what the neighborhood looks like. So I would absolutely rather be around people on Halloween night. And then when I go home, dude, I'm putting on, the 78 Halloween. And that to me is the perfect Halloween. Go out, have fun, get a little buzz, Uber home, put on Halloween, pass out. That to me is perfect.
I like it. I like it. So a little bit of both. Go to the blowout party, Uber home, and then have a movie marathon and fall asleep on the couch.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Perfect Halloween night. Let's see, over to me. So some modern found footage horrors here. Hell House LLC from 2015 or The House is October Built from 2014.
Oh, man, you're putting me on the spot right now. I'm going Hell House.
Yeah. Okay.
I love Hell House. I love both those. You know what I really enjoyed was the House is October Built documentary. Did you see the one on the Blu-ray? It's the movie is based off of something they previously shot that plays more like a documentary.
Yes.
And so it's on the Blu-ray. If you have the Blu-ray, man, that's what I should watch tonight. House is October Built and Hell House. I still, I gotta watch the new Hell House.
Double feature.
I haven't watched.
I haven't seen the new one either. Is it streaming yet? The brand new one?
I was just gonna ask that. I think it is. It might be on Shudder. Scream. I'm gonna check that out tonight. I'm gonna watch the new Hell House. I love Hell House. That first one just blew my mind. House is October Built is so much fun. But that one really stuck with me because of the documentary that they made. And if you haven't seen it, just go watch that. That's all I'm going to say.
Because so is it a fake documentary, like the Blair Witch documentary they made, or is it? Okay.
You should just watch it.
I'm with you.
Right. I'm pretty sure it's on the Blu-ray, but it was so much fun. So House is October Built is great. I'd love to see more from that, but Hell House for me, that is so much scarier. And I love everything that they've been doing. Even the last one, I haven't seen the newest, but the one that came out like last year, or the year previously.
Oh yeah, like
it was
Manor.
So good.
I forget what it was called. Something Manor. That was good. It's the clown. That clown.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
But no, that whole franchise is so great.
House is October Built 2 was kind of a miss, I thought.
I have been, so again, like you can see my physical media collection back there. I've been trying to find the second one. I've only seen it once years ago, and I don't remember much of it. So I'm trying to buy it, but I don't know if you guys are the same way as collectors, but for me, if the movie was released originally with a slipcover, I'm not buying it unless I can find that goddamn slipcover. And I can't find it. I've got the first one with the slipcover, but I can't find the second one. And it's absolutely driving me nuts. So if anybody out there has House is October Built 2 with the slipcover on Blu-ray, please help me out here.
I'll check. I don't know. I don't know if there was a slipcover on the second one. I know there was.
We were supposed to have a slipcover. It's killing me. We don't. So because for me, like if I'm buying a movie on Amazon, right? Like if I know it came out with the slip and then I get it delivered to me and it doesn't, I return it and I keep buying it until I get the slip. Creeping Death did not have one. We were supposed to, and I would love that. Maybe if we do an anniversary or another, a special edition of it, I'm definitely fighting for a slipcover because I want that. And we had the artwork for the slipcover shot. It was all set, and it didn't happen, and it's killing me because the artwork is so cool. So I might have to use that for something else.
Could you do like a special order slipcover? Like if you're a fan, you could, like the 1031 films, the anthology films, they have fantastic slipcovers, and you can purchase those separately if you want to.
Oh, really? So that's something that I've kind of been like thinking about, is doing something like that.
I have them up there. Yeah.
Or even getting an exclusive steelbook case. So but that's the thing. It's like, the cost, I don't know what the cost would be to get a steelbook case made without the disc. So I don't want people to have to buy the disc and then have to buy the case. So I need to figure that out because for me as a collector, I'm sure you guys too, like, you want to have something more exclusive, something a little bit more collector's edition. That's how I am, and so I would love, love, love to do something like that.
I think Vinegar Syndrome does the same thing. You can buy the slipcovers separately, like $5 or something.
I might be looking into this then because I would love to get that made, even if it was just a limited edition thing,
Yes, I would like to say I'm speaking for a friend. Well, I guess I am for Frank. We would both be into a slipcover if it comes to life. Keep us updated.
Definitely.
But anyway, where were we? Frank, over to you. I think.
Let's get some Halloween candy in there. Starburst, Skittles. What are you picking?
Starburst or Skittles? Probably. I like Skittles better, but I would say Starburst because if I open a whole bag of Skittles, I probably don't want the whole bag of Skittles, but I'll eat the whole bag of Skittles. As opposed to Starburst, I can grab 3, eat them, be satisfied, and not feel like a fat ass way later in the night.
There we go.
Plus, with Starburst, you have to open each one individually, right? So,
right, exactly. So I can limit myself with that. But dude, if I'm grabbing a bag of Skittles, I'm eating the whole thing. I'm not going to wrap up half of them and save it for later. They're gone.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yes. And then Starburst, as you open them, you pile up the wrappers, right? So the bigger the pile gets, the more guilt. The whole bag.
Yeah.
The whole bag of Starburst.
No matter what,
you have to pick up the wrappers. They're still good. Yes. Yeah. All right, here we go. Some remakes here. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003. or the Hills Have Eyes remake from 2006?
You know what? I have to say the Texas Chainsaw remake. I mean, it's so well done. I'm also only saying this because I've only seen the Hills Have Eyes remake once, and I've been wanting to revisit it. But I mean, the fact that Daniel Pearl came back to reshoot his own movie, like he did so well with that. It looks beautiful. I love how gritty it is. Last year, I went to see some of the locations from the original Texas Chainsaw and the remake, and the remake just knocks it out of the park. And I think people are always going to gravitate. Obviously, you have the original Leatherface, but I think people also gravitate towards the remake Leatherface as well because of just how well done that was. Even the prequel, I love Texas Chainsaw at the beginning. So Leatherface is terrifying in that, and that was the first. I saw the remake before I saw the original. That's the one I grew up with. God, I was 10 years old when the remake came out. If not for that remake, I never would have really learned about Texas Chainsaw, or at least not that young. Hills Have Eyes, I didn't really gravitate towards that much until later on. But again, it's still been so long. So I need to. I really want to see even the original ones. I want to see those again because it's been a hot minute.
And it's a perfect time of year to rewatch them all, I say. I mean, any time of year is good for
absolutely
watching those.
Although I feel definitely more summertime.
Those
for
are
me.
Summer marathons. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, I don't have any Hills Have Eyes on my shelf. That's crazy. I need to get those.
And there's a box set of the two remakes because there's the Hills Have Eyes remake,
box set?
and then
there's a part 2. I didn't know they did a box set for it.
Yeah, I have it over there. Here, let me grab it.
Was it Arrow?
I'm curious.
No, it's 20th Century Fox. Well, I guess it's sort of a box set.
Oh, Blu-ray set? Oh,
wow. yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there are two Blu-rays in it, but
they didn't do a 4K of that, right?
No, I don't think so.
Did they do a 4K? I don't know.
They did of the original, and then I think
the original
second
the
one.
Original, yeah.
Okay,
I don't know if
I need to get that. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay, I'm buying that.
Cool artwork too.
Damn, that is very cool. They shot that, I think, out where I live, basically too, and it's so crazy. Like they shot Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses, which Rob Zombie is one of my all-time favorite directors, and so they shot some of those movies like within 10-15 minutes of where I am, and it just like it makes me feel all giddy just knowing that it was like right down the road for me.
That's sick.
Did you do drive-bys while they were filming?
Well, no, because they shot that like when I was 10. But I do drive by there all the time. It's funny because I work where the murder I cannot talk. Where the murder ride is, where they shot that. I worked there a couple months ago on a movie actually, and it was just so cool to like be on that set where such an iconic opening has happened, and also be allowed there. Because half the time I'm like checking out a lot of horror movie sites and it's like, get the hell out of here. You're not supposed to be here. And I'm like, I just want
to get out of my living room.
Yeah, get out of my living room. So it's nice when you're allowed there and people aren't putting up like bushes or whatever in front of their house to stop you from seeing it.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. That's tragic.
Yeah. But whatever.
All right, so what about Prom Night or Terror Train?
Ooh. Man, I haven't seen those ones in a while too.
Jamie Lee Curtis was busy that year.
I'm a sucker for anything Jamie Lee Curtis is in. Man, I gotta say, probably Prom Night. I need to revisit that. I've seen them both, obviously. I've seen the remakes. I didn't see the Terror Train remake. I think they did a sequel to the Terror Train remake as well, but probably Prom Night. But I don't remember too much about that. But I think that was like the next movie she did after Halloween, right? Was Prom Night? That was before Terror Train?
I believe so, yeah. They're both great, but I feel like Prom Night's a little bit more entertaining. You have like the whole unnecessary disco dance sequence on the disco floor, and that one chase scene is fantastic with the girl who she ultimately doesn't live. But it's so good. And the whole beginning, right? With the kids playing the game, like kill, kill, kill. And now I want to watch
that. That's one that I'm putting that on my purchase list. So I'm buying
the prank phone calls. Okay. I could go on and on. Here we go. Would you want to spend the night in the Evil Dead cabin or camp camp in the Black Hills Forest in Burkittsville, Maryland?
Both. all of
Evil
it,
Dead
whatever,
cabin
whatever's
in
gonna come my way.
Burkittsville.
Yeah, if we could do that, that would be awesome. Honestly, like it would be so cool. I'm actually surprised no one's done this because there's that that one person rebuilt the Myers house, right? I think in North Carolina.
Yeah.
God, someone remake the Evil Dead cabin so we can go in it and visit and check it out. Like that would be such a fun experience. Like put it in the middle of the woods. Oh my God, how cool would that be? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it would also. I do
It
want
could
to
be an
go.
Airbnb, like a weekend getaway.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm there. I'll
See,
sign up.
Frank's
I'll be
with
the
me.
first one.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be
Bruce
cool.
Campbell come out and like recreate like some of the scenes. Like that'd be so much fun.
And like smoke, like fog coming out of the ground. And
I would love that.
that'd be sick.
that would be fun. And even like a guided camping tour into Burkittsville, the woods of Burkittsville,
Oh
Maryland. Like,
yeah.
here's Coffin Rock. How fun would that be? And then like, oh my God, we're lost because I kicked the map in the river.
I'm sure someone's done that. I bet there had to have. If it's not already a thing, there's people that probably go and camp there. I would love to do that.
Yes. Nate's here. I just want to give him a shout out. And he said there is
What
a
up, Nate?
Terror Train 2 remake. So awesome.
I need
What's
to
up,
watch.
Nate?
I need to watch both those. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
I don't
No?
yeah, I don't know. I think we got a few more this or that. Yeah, I don't, Nate, what do you think? Should he watch Terror Train 2 remake? But while he thinks about it, Frank, over to you.
What about Haunt 2019 or Hellfest 2018?
Haunt. Haunt's a really fun Halloween movie. I don't remember too much of Hellfest, but Haunt I really loved.
Yeah.
I love the look of all the killers and that. I thought all the costumes were really well done. It's such a fun premise, and it's simple too. To me, it's just it's the Halloween version of Funhouse, which I love. So I absolutely loved that movie because and it felt so confined as well. Where with Hellfest, it was such a bigger area where I think it's harder to really make you feel like the claustrophobia in a way of being trapped. With this killer.
That's true. They both make a good double feature though this time of year.
I would agree.
Of Hellfest.
Is Hellfest set on Halloween night? I think it is, right?
I think so.
Okay. I might have to watch those tonight.
There you go. We're giving you lots of ideas. Okay. More candy here, sort of. Candy corn or candy apples?
Oh, candy apples.
You like
Absolutely.
the crunchy ones or the caramel candy apples?
Crunchy.
Yeah.
Oh, both of them. I like
Yes.
the caramel apples with like the sprinkles on the outside.
Oh,
So you get a
yeah.
little bit of crunch, but you get the you get a little bit of the softness of the caramel and stuff too. The
getting
chewiness of the
hungry.
caramel.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
with
hoping
it.
to get over to Salem this weekend. I'll get a candy apple.
Oh, dude. I usually I try to go to Salem once every year. This year I did not make it happen. Last year I went.
Oh, that's too bad.
Did I go?
Let me
last
know
year?
next time you're
No,
in
I
the
didn't.
area.
Dude,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. And Frank, you got to get up here too.
Yeah, definitely, for
You
sure.
were here last year, right? I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, I make my way up. I think next trip might be Pennsylvania. We'll see what happens, though. But I'm always up in the Northeast at some point, so we definitely got to get to Salem.
Yeah,
It's so
awesome.
much
Let
fun.
me know. Okay, we got 3 more. Frank, over to you. This is a good one. You're gonna love this one.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 or Part 3?
Oh. Oh man. Probably the first one. I don't think I know there's people that will disagree with me, but I don't think you beat the first one. The third one is the best sequel. But that first one, at least for me, it has such a special place in my heart because I remember just seeing bits and pieces pop up on TV as a kid. When Nancy's running down, runs out of the classroom, runs down, and runs in that classmate, and she's like, "No, run in the hallway." Like that scene, I turned on the TV, like AMC was doing this Fear Fest, and I had never seen Nightmare on Elm Street or any of this before, and all of a sudden it's no running in the hallway, and the hand popped up. I'm like, Freddy's a girl too. What the fuck is going on? Like, it scared the hell out of me. I shut it off. I ran out of my room. It terrified me. And so, for me, it's just so nostalgic. It brings me back to just being a kid when I watched that first one. The third one I didn't see till much later in my life. Oh wow, she's agreeing with me on this. That's crazy.
She is. Yeah.
Damn.
I agree.
Yes. Yeah. The one that started it all, right?
Yeah.
Although 3
Yeah.
is fantastic, but
Yeah. Oh, 3 is so good. 3 is so good. For me, it's 1, 3,
Yeah.
and then 2 are New Nightmare. And then after that, 4, 5, 6, I enjoyed, but I just, I fell off after that. I haven't seen them as many times. To me, there's just not as many memorable moments as those. I know other people will disagree with me. But, I like Freddy's Dead. I've only seen a handful of times. But I just got the 4K collection in yesterday. So
I was just going to ask, did you
yeah.
get the steelbook? The steelbook
No, I did not. I would look, well, because that's the thing. I figured when it first came out, it was like $200, $300. I'm like, all right, clearly when this drops, they're gonna put out a bunch. They're gonna lower the price, and I can get it for $100. That's normally what I do. I usually don't pre-order anything. Now I wish I pre-ordered it, but I got the other one because I still had that Blu-ray set, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to spend the money they're asking. It sounds like they're not putting it out again, so it's not. And it's a very cool set. I'm already running out of room on that shelf, so I'm like, I don't need a set this big for that. As much as I would love to have it, I'm thinking about space at this point, and so to have it in that one set, at least they're all on different discs. The artwork is cool. I'll live with that. If I find it for $100, great. I'm not paying those scalper prices. And if you're a scalper that bought it and is charging $500-$600, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. That's garbage. Like $600. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it sold out so fast on Amazon. Fake Voorhees, if he's still on, he's the one who told me there was one day he's like, they're back on Amazon. Order one now, and that's how I got it.
Shit.
Yeah.
Did you get one, Frank? I can't remember.
No, I didn't, man. I missed out, unfortunately. I might have to do what Matt did. Get one of those, I guess, smaller copies because scalper prices are.
Get it while you can get the slip case with the red case with the slip cover. That,
okay.
I'm happy with that. Cool.
It's an
and they're all in 4K.
For sure.
Right? So
yeah.
And they're all.
And I heard they're not making anymore. They're not going to make more of the
I don't know. It's such a miss. Like, how can you not make more? Of course it's going to do well. I mean, look at what Scream Factory was doing with, the Friday the 13th and the Halloween box set. I mean, they're now retiring the Friday box set, and that came out how long ago? Yeah, we know yours just shipped. Good for you. I'm stealing yours.
I'm going to look this up real quick.
Who is this person that keeps popping
I don't know. She keeps chatting messages.
Jeez. But I don't know. Maybe I'll get it one day. But I think it's just such a miss. Like the fact that it didn't come out sooner, And I mean, I get it as well. But at least the Friday and the Halloween box sets included the remake. Like, I get it. They don't want to include it. But, like, at least they're all there.
I didn't even think about that until just now. The remake is there.
It isn't there, which it's fine. I've got the Blu-ray. It's okay. But, I'm just surprised that they wouldn't want to include that as well, just to say it's all there. This is every single part of the IP that we have.
Yeah, like even Halloween Resurrection is in the box set.
Well, you had Rob Zombies in there. You know what I mean? I'm curious if there would ever be a re-release or a new release of it. Not that I would buy it at this point. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done buying copies of Halloween. I bought every single copy, every deluxe edition, 25th anniversary, 30, 40, whatever. I'm done. I've got them all on so many platforms. There's nothing you can do to it that's going to make me go, wow, I need this. And then watch. Tomorrow they're going to announce like the most badass box set.
Did you see Imprint Films, the box set they announced? It's got the big pumpkin.
I did see that, and I'm just
pre-ordered
like, nope,
that. That was
not getting my money on that. I've got the pumpkin right there. I got the discs right there.
I know. Yeah, I had to get it. I was like, it's my favorite film. I have to get it.
You can try.
And they said only 1,000 copies, and then the next day they're like, just kidding. We're going to print 1,000 more.
Well, and that's the thing. Again, for me as a physical or just a collector in general, it's like I collect a lot of the NECA stuff. And I remember Shout Factory doing, I already bought My Bloody Valentine when they put that out on Blu-ray, the original one. And then they said, okay, we're putting out the steelbook of My Bloody Valentine with the Harry Warden action figure. And I'm like, there's going to be a Harry Warden action figure? I need that. But I already had the Blu-ray. I didn't want the steelbook. Right. And they said, look, it's limited. Once they're gone, it's gone. We're never making it again. And so I was like, fuck it. I'm like, whatever. I'll buy the movie again. I just want that action figure. I don't care. So I bought it. I got the action figure. I got the steelbook. Still haven't opened it. And then like 2-3 months later, they're like, surprise, we're mass producing the Harry Warden action figures. And I'm just like,
just kidding. Yeah. I hear you, man. I hear you. There's something weird going on with Shout Factory and Scream Factory. I think they were bought out, and I don't know what's happening there. But there are
I saw
rumors
something, but it
sounds.
sounds, from what I've heard, it sounds like they're just going to be selling them through other websites, and their website is going to be no more, but they will still be creating stuff from what I've heard. But, you know, I haven't looked into too much of it. I think they just started talking about it today or yesterday. So I haven't caught up too much with that.
Well, there's a massive sale on their site. Even some of the box sets that are like $70-$80 are like half off.
Ooh.
So go check it out. Like the Ring box set that I spent $70 on is no longer $70.
Oh, dude.
But who's bitter, right? What can you do now?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, two more. Oh my gosh, we've taken up so much of your time.
No, you're fine.
Back to me. We got two more. Paranormal Activity from 2007 or The Blair Witch Project from 1999.
You know, I'm going to have to go Paranormal Activity, because with Blair Witch, I heard about it all the time growing up as a kid, but I think there was so much talk about it that it created this like much scarier version of it in my head than what I ended up seeing. And so I kind of knew where I was going, where Paranormal Activity was my generation's Blair Witch. And I remember seeing that trailer for the first time, and I thought this was real footage. I thought this movie was real. And so I just remember I saw the trailer, and it was like showing like the ghost, you know, or the bed sheets just kind of moving. And I was so fucking scared. I think I slept in my mom's room that night. That trailer just freaked me out. And then I went to the movie theater to see that with all my friends. And I remember that ending shot right when, you know, she starts walking towards the camera. I wrapped my entire body around me. I was in the movie theater like this because I was so fucking scared. And a movie had never affected me like that. I had never had a theatrical experience like that. And those movies, even the sequels, going into the theater for those, I just never knew what to expect, but they always just got to me. Blair Witch, I never felt that. Blair Witch, the third one, that actually really got me. I really love that one. But the original one, I think, if I saw it when I was younger. If I saw it as a kid, I think I would have been more scared of it, but I didn't see it until I was probably a teenager. And so it just didn't have the same effect it probably would have if I watched it when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Frank? Same.
Oh no, there's that weird effect of seeing something when you're 8, 9 years old, especially when it comes to the horror genre. And then, you know, you do see something a little bit later, like when you're in high school and you're, oh, I'm cool, I can't get scared anymore as much kind of thing. But then you get an adult and you're like, all right, never mind. I got to look at everything like I was like a kid again. That's how I try to approach every horror movie. I try to keep the kid alive because you never know, you know. You want to be surprised. You want to feel scared. You want to feel the goosebumps like you mentioned. So.
Oh, for sure. I kind of feel like the 4K editions that are coming out, especially like the older films, lets you revisit these films again for the first time and reclaim, I guess, some of the nostalgic value that is inherent with those films. But I digress. We have one last this or that question.
Yeah.
Frank, I believe it's your turn.
We got Halloween franchise or the Friday the 13th franchise?
Oh. Fuck. I think... Man, you're killing me. All right, I think the first Halloween is a far superior film than the original Friday the 13th, 100%. I think if we're talking about... All right, are we talking remakes and then the requels, or are we talking like the OG? Everything, the whole IP. Oh, yeah. Man.
Even Resurrection and Jason X.
Dude.
Or what is it? Jason Goes to Hell. That one gets a lot of hate.
I think up until all of them over Nightmare on Elm Street for sure. I gotta say, probably Halloween. Because I really love what Rob Zombie did so much. I think Rob Zombie, I love the OG Halloween in Halloween 2 and Halloween 3. Halloween, yeah. Yeah, Halloween. There's some bad ones in there. There definitely are. But like growing up, it was Jason for me all the way. And then when the Halloween remakes came out, that pulled me back into Michael Myers more. And then I became obsessed. And I don't feel like, especially with what the franchise, both of those IPs have done the last couple, even the last decade or 2 decades, Friday the 13th has kind of fallen off a little bit. I love those movies, but Halloween has kept Michael Myers alive. And, Halloween Kills, just that movie, whether you love it or hate it, that made me feel like a kid again seeing that first one, having those flashback scenes, having Loomis come back. Like, I don't, there's not too many characters in the Friday the 13th franchise where I would want to really revisit. There are, I'm not saying there aren't, but I think Halloween just has such iconic characters besides Michael Myers that you want to see reappear. And they did well with that.
Yeah,
Agreed. Yeah, definitely.
I just got to show this one last time.
I think she's saying Halloween. I think she's saying she agrees
Oh,
with
okay. I'm like,
Butcher
what's
Knife.
the context there?
That's definitely the
You're in
context.
trouble.
Yes.
All right, Matt. Well, we went way longer than we intended, but this has been such a blast. Congratulations on Creeping Death. If you're watching, get a physical copy. Here it is right here. You can see the cover. It's also streaming on multiple platforms if you want to watch it there as well. And it's a perfect movie to watch in October, especially leading up to Halloween. So Matt, congratulations on your film.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for chatting with us tonight. This has been fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Yes.
Appreciate
And
you,
Frank,
man. It was
Fears
fun.
of Cinema, thank you so much for joining. And
Definitely.
if you are watching, thanks for tuning in and checking out our chat about Creeping Death. And we will see you all soon. Have an awesome Halloween.
Good night, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Cheers.
Cheers.